We all know that feeling. The deep and utter remorse deep down in your bones when you think back on the things you once owned and loved, and realize that you foolishly sold them, or your parents gave them away, or some little red-headed psychopath cut the hands and feet off your favorite pink monkey eraser. But alas, that's all in the past now. Today we can just talk about it on another edition of The Toys We Loved and Lost. What's up, Internet? Every single muscle here, and today I'm sitting down with VHSCrypt and BodyStews, two of everyone's favorite vintage toy sellers and collectors amongst the Internet toy community, to discuss the toys that they have loved and lost. We're talking everything from M.U.S.C.L.E, of course, to MOTU, to the Monster in My Pocket Collectors Club, and the tragic tale of how VHSCrypt lost his childhood toy collection in a devastating hurricane. Let's get to it. Okay, I'm here now with Chris, who many of you may know as VHSCrypt, one of the foremost sellers of vintage toys and action figures on Instagram and at toy shows across the United States. And might I add, he has an incredible taste in toys. Chris, thanks for coming on the show, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, very much appreciated, dude.
Today, I have a question for you, though. Can you tell us a story about a toy that you loved and lost?
I could tell you many stories, but yeah, I could keep it to one.
No, we could do many stories, but let's start with one.
I guess the beginning of this story, kind of an interesting point. I had a grand uncle who was like kind of a cinephile in the 80s. He would subscribe to all the premium channel Stars, Cinemax, HBO, and he was constantly recording on like the 2-deck VCR. You know, every movie that would be on, he would try to get a copy of Gremlins and Terminator 2 and, you know, just whatever was playing. So when you'd go over his house, there would be hundreds, thousands of recorded VHS tapes of movies. He'd let me borrow whatever I wanted. And I don't think I ever gave this back. Was Ghostbusters 1 and 2 recorded on the same tape. So I loved Ghostbusters from a super young age. I wanted the toys super bad. Christmas 1989 was probably my best Christmas ever I got. My first real Ghostbusters Firehouse, which is funny enough is in the background of both of our videos right now.
Yeah.
The first thing I did was open the slime can, pour it down the top grate of the playset, and then I just let it dry. I had slime for one day, so I never put it away. And the crust of the slime was just like, as long as I can remember having that playset, I was flaking little bits of slime still off of the playset. Probably around 2004, maybe 5, Hurricane Ivan hit Western Pennsylvania, where I live, super hard.
The remnants of Hurricane Ivan flooding homes and businesses, causing the worst floods in a generation.
Yeah, Ivan caused damage all over the place, but really hit the towns of Carnegie, Etna, Millville, and Sharpsburg especially hard.
And I live by a creek, like a channel of water. It runs behind all the houses. It's kind of a time bomb waiting to happen. The whole area floods. It's immobile. You cannot drive down the road to get to where I lived or where my mom lived. All my toys were in the basement, and she lives in a probably 250-year-old house. The entire basement was eye level water. No. If this happened in 2025, I'd probably be down there with a toothbrush scrubbing all the toys and keeping them, but it didn't strike me at that time. And she just kind of tossed my childhood stuff, including my Firehouse.
Well, so you had a lot of stuff that got lost there, not just the Firehouse, but like everything.
Very few childhood items do I have. Anything that I have is just random one-offs that got stuck behind a couch, or, you know, if they were in somewhere in the upstairs of my childhood house. But yeah, most of my stuff, 99% of my stuff, I no longer have.
Oh man, that's a bummer. But you did get back the Ghostbusters Firehouse.
It must have been 2021. I probably pieced this together. I don't know exactly where I got it. I feel like I had like a door, a sign, a couple of the inside containment units, and I just found a shell and said, you know what, it's time to like put that back out.
This is my childhood Ghostbusters Firehouse. You can see it's pretty yellowed, though.
It's got some charm on it. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I think it was because it was in an attic and, you know, it got some heat. There was some temperature fluctuations or something. I've seen people do the thing where they go like, oh, they try to paint some bleach on it and plastic
retro brighting or,
On the Ghostbusters Firehouse, that's a really difficult task because taking it apart is near impossible. And avoiding the painted parts with whatever you're painting it with is not easy either. So I just decided to leave it in this yellowed condition.
You got to wear it with pride, especially as a serious adult collector. Your childhood pieces mean the most. I mean, if I had to pick, a $400 figure that I just got or my childhood figure, I probably would run for my childhood figure first, I would say. But, say all this to say, I lost all my childhood toys. My childhood Firehouse among them. And, that was probably one of the ones that cut the deepest. But here now, years later, probably 15 years later after the fact, I was able to complete one, put it together. And as you see here, it holds a prominent place on my shelf still. So,
Okay, so I'm here with Boyd, but most of you will know him as BodyStews on Instagram. He's a prominent toy collector and seller and has endeared himself to the greater vintage toy collecting community over the years. What's up, Boyd? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm
Yeah.
doing great. So excited to be here today.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you. So we're here today to discuss the toys we've loved and lost. So please do tell us a story about a toy that you have once loved and lost.
So yeah, I think a lot of us have that story about what we had. And then we go off to college, we go off and move off and leave stuff at home, and then we come home, it's not there. My younger brother, when I got home, he says, "Hey, Dad went to a gun show and sold all our toys."
So
And
he
then
sold the toys at a gun show?
yeah, kind of like a gun slash antique show. There's always like the toy guy there, or kind of the stuff that's not guns. Yeah, he says he traded them for like a 44 Magnum, like with the scope, like with the laser scope. He was really pumped. So at the time, I was in the middle of college and girls and all those things, and so I was bummed, but it didn't really affect me that much. And then later on, as I got more nostalgic and things, I was kind of bemoaning that and had some regret. I still had my MOTU, right? My dad didn't do anything with the MOTU. I had everything up through like probably 86, kept my toys pretty clean. We didn't have a lot growing up, like financially, but mom made sure we always had toys. Got married, had a child, and things were tight. And then this was in the early days of eBay. And I sold my whole collection on eBay in one fell swoop, just in a big lot, all my MOTU for $180. And
Oh no. You probably didn't get the good end of the deal there.
no, well, it paid the power bill that month. And so that,
Sure.
it did what it needed to do. From that moment that it sold, I regretted it. And it wasn't until about a year and a half ago, there was a guy that was selling his 44-year-old son's MOTU collection. Didn't have any pictures. He says, just come get it. But it was like $1,100 is what he wanted.
Hmm.
And it was on Marketplace for a long, long, long time. And so he brings me in. There's all these bins of MOTU stuff, and it was all super, super clean. And there was everything but Eternia was there.
Wow.
Everything, a Twistoid, a Rotar, like everything. Well, not complete. There was no accessories, not a single accessory to be had. And then he went off into his room and he wasn't feeling good. He says, my daughter will be here in a minute. You can work with her. And she comes in, and I'm trying to explain to her, I'm like, this is like $500, $600, $700 at the most. Condition's amazing, but there's just no accessories, and accessories is where it's at.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Well, what do the accessories look like?" And so I just, I hold up a Scareglow, and I'm like, "Well, he'd have a purple cape, he'd have a green staff." I held up a few characters, and she goes, "Just a minute." And she comes back up from the basement with a big old bucket and just dumps it out, and it's all the accessories. She goes, "Is $600 okay?" And I said, "Yeah, we'll do $600." And she was happy. Her dad was happy. At the end of the day, it worked out really good. But it was fun to kind of have that moment to kind of get that back from something I'd regretted 25 years earlier.
Hey guys, if you're watching the channel and you're liking the things you're seeing, it couldn't hurt to hit like and subscribe and leave a comment. And I just figured that would be helpful to me doing this. And
I have one more story that I want to tell. If I could get up quickly, I'm going to grab something. So I think we could all like relate a little bit when the TV commercials were so predatory and the advertising towards children was so predatory, but in a familiar way that we've come to know and love. Kids, go grab your parent and tell them to, put their credit card number in now. So you need this.
There's always something new on the Hulk Hogan hotline.
I was usually hit with a nice firm no. I was not a member of any fan clubs. I was not ordering stuff on the phone. I had a super, super cool aunt. No kids of her own, and she just loved me to death. She signed me up for the Monster in My Pocket fan club because she knew my mom probably would say no. So you got like a big mailer envelope in the mail for your initial package, and it had like little activity guides. There were a couple of stickers, no exclusive figures, but the big thing was this bag. It's just a plastic shopping bag that says Monster in my pocket. And I had probably, 20 or so Monster in my pocket. And 5-year-old me would carry this bag. I would bring it to church. I would bring this everywhere with me. I wore it out like the graphic was missing off of the front. But this took me years to find another one. I had an eBay saved search, and I probably have had this for 7 or 8 years. This came from West Palm Beach, Florida, but I would pay just an obscene amount of money to even have my childhood bag. I have no idea where that went. I mean, it was probably lost in a flood as well. But
I mean, it's just a piece of plastic, right? Just a plastic bag, but it had Monster in My Pocket print on it. That's what makes it special.
So this is something that maybe wasn't stolen from me, but I kind of feel like it was. One year, it was mid 80s. It had to be mid 80s just because of the toys I'm going to describe. I figured out where mom and dad's haul was for our hiding place for Christmas. And I went through and inspected and figured out all the things that I was going to be getting for Christmas. And man, was I pumped. You know, the packs of muscles that I don't know, they're in the cardboard box.
The 28 pack. You don't have to tell me, man. I know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All of them. Like there was 4 28 packs, like all these things that is so sweet. And then Christmas morning comes and I'm just so excited and proceeded to watch my little brother open up all those gifts.
Oh no. What did you get that year?
I got a shotgun and a keyboard.
Okay. I mean, so, I don't think it compares to muscle, but some people might. Tragedies. All tales of tragedy, but they aren't the last ones, no, because I've spoken to toy collectors across the globe, gathering up tales of regret and redemption, so the toys we loved and lost will return. But for my next episode, it's a good old-fashioned figure hunt. Because I'm hitting up SoCal's #1 vintage toy show, Toy Depot's Geeking Out, and I am genuinely worried about how much money I'm going to spend. So stick around for that and for more every single muscle.